James Hasty, but Everett couldn't find him.
A lot of speed this Ram team has. That's the big thing that worries the Jets defense. Ralph Hawkins, the coordinator. Jim Everett has a tremendous arm. He's an accurate passer, even though he missed his receiver this last time. But the Rams have so much speed that the Jets really can't match up with them play in and play out. So they've got to kind of disguise things and try and fool Everett a little bit.
A matchup between the man who has thrown the most touchdown passes in the NFL, Everett, against the secondary that's given up the most, the Jets, who have given up 27. Greg Bell on the running play with short yardage. Kyle Clifton on the tackle for the New York Jets. All sorts of playoff implications. Minnesota has taken the lead at Cleveland in that brutally cold matchup. Indianapolis really hurting the Dolphins with that 42-13. That game was close for a long time, and then the Colts broke it open late. In the late starting game.
Atlanta beating Washington. Yeah. That has to be a surprise.
Indeed. 3rd and 10 for Los Angeles. Jim Everett again goes deep. Ellard has it. Ellard goes upstairs to bring it down all the way to the Jet 25-yard line. A 29-yard gain and a Ram first down. Bobby Humphrey able to tackle Henry Ellard, but not until he had the 29-yard reception.
Well, it's just excellent pass protection. Look at all this room and time that Everett has to get over there. Bobby Humphrey falls down on the play. He was in pretty good position here. You see him on the ground. The ball was in a perfect spot for Ellard to receive it, but the key on this play is the pass protection, and of course Bobby Humphrey losing his footing.
So the Rams, with the first scoring threat of the game, they have a first down at the 25 of the Jets. On the ground, Robert Delpino with the carry. He's across the 25 to the 23-yard line, stopped by the rookie first-round choice of the Jets, Jeff Lageman. John Robinson, in his 7th year as the Rams coach. The record is 67-49 coming into the game. 6 winning seasons with this club and 10 or more wins in 5 of those years. 2nd and 9 for Los Angeles. The Jets go with their dime defense. Just now getting an extra man off the field. Everett lobs it to Delpino. Tiptoes down the sideline. Marked out of bounds right at the first down marker, the 15-yard line. Kyle Clifton covering Delpino. It's good for 10 yards and another Ram first down.
Well, I tell you, this tells you something about Everett's abilities. He's 6'5", he's a big guy. He drops the ball over Clifton's head, 59, who is in hot pursuit, but the ball was just beautifully thrown, dropped right in there to Delpino. Everett has an excellent touch on the football, as well as being able to throw that thing on a clothesline 40, 50 yards downfield.
First down at the 14-yard line. Willie Anderson, the only wide receiver, as Clifton lines up on defense. Johnson and Holohan, 2 tight ends. And the running play is to Greg Bell. And Brell is stopped right at the 10-yard line by Eric McMillan and Kyle Clifton.
Yeah, he was stopped all right, but after he ran over Kyle Clifton, I mean, that was some powerful running in there by Eric Bell. I think he kind of fooled Clifton, or Clifton was caught off balance because he just went right over top of him.
Greg Bell has been criticized by some of the media and fans here in Los Angeles, but he says he's still running hard, and he says that he's never gotten any respect. It's nothing new for him to be criticized, but he says he's been productive whatever uniform he's worn and trying to put some life back in the Ram running game. Here he is again. Can't get outside. Does a little hesitation move as a flag goes down. He stopped short of the 5-yard line by Alex Gordon.
Yeah, well, the Jets might get a break here. Buford McGee, the fullback, was out there blocking. He may be called for a holding penalty here. But this is a pretty good drive so far for the Rams. The alarming thing for the Jets is they haven't been able to put pressure on Everett at all. He's had time to stand back there and throw.
It will be a clipping call against the Rams, which will back them up. They would have been close to the 5-yard line.
Personal foul. Clipping number 24, offense, first down.
Buford McGee with the clip.
Well, we'll take a look right here on our telestrator and see if we can circle Buford McGee right here. He's the guy that's going to get called for the clip. Now watch and see him hit Radachowski in the back. You're not allowed to do that, Buford. 15 yards.
Yeah, that was a pretty, that's kind of textbook clip right there. 2nd and 18 now for the Rams, back at the 25-yard line. Everett again with time across the middle. Great catch for the touchdown, Houlihan. Everett to Houlihan for the touchdown. John Robinson's team breaks on top. 25-yard scoring play. Mike Lansford will attempt the point after. He's 43 for 43 this season. And that one is also good. So Everett with a touchdown pass to Houlihan. And Houlihan celebrates his 2nd touchdown of the season. Houlihan with a touchdown catch, and the Rams up 7-0 now. Here's the kickoff by Lansford. It'll be taken by Humphrey. Bobby Humphrey across the 15, still going to the 25. Nice return by Bobby Humphrey. Finally tackled at about the 27-yard line. A 26-yard return. Sean Miller, special team tackle for the Rams.
All right, let's look at the catch that Pete Houlihan made. First of all, he's right here. Leander Knight is on him. He's going to come off the line and just simply outrun Knight to the left, and the ball is just beautifully thrown. Here you see Houlihan, a tight end, but he gets behind Knight with his speed. And Houlihan is the man. We hear about Flipper Anderson and Eller. They have the big numbers, but Houlihan came with Ernie Zampese, and he is a mainstay in this pass offense.
Newbert and Dressel, 2 tight ends. Dressel in motion. And on first down, it's a handoff to Roger Vick, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage by Alvin Wright. And that Ram defense.
That Ram defense is tough against the run. You'd expect the Jets to start throwing the pass more. They do have some concern with their ability to block the defensive front and these blitzing linebackers of the Rams. That's why the Jets ideally would like to run the ball. They had success against San Diego, which plays a similar defense to the Rams. Running the ball, they gained 181 yards. They'd like to, but I don't think they're going to be able to.
The Jets had given up 51 sacks this season. Kevin Green told us yesterday that made him drool thinking about this game. Here's Green putting pressure on Eason. Eason lets it go and has his man. Again, it's Al Toon. And Toon is close to a first down before he's knocked out by Leroy Irvin. It will be 10 yards and a New York Jet first down. Well, that's been the most productive offensive play. Eason to Toon.
Toon is a good 50 yards away from Eason by the time the ball gets there. This is just a marvelous throw. Leroy Irving showing a lot of respect for Toon. You saw how his body was turned and ready to run down field to protect against the long bomb, and then Toon just broke it nicely to the outside. Excellent pass that time by Tony Eason.
3 catches by Al Toon here, and the Rams have allowed a lot of yardage through the air. That was Joe Montana that cut him up on Monday night. Tony Eason with plenty of time. And that one will go out of bounds. Flag on the play as Eason was knocked down.
Eason's sneaky. I mean, he can buy time. That's the thing that impressed Zeke Rakowski, the quarterback coach, and also Richie Kotite. Eason's ability to move around and buy some extra time.
Will be a holding call, though, against Walton's Jets.
It appeared Dave Cadigan might have had a problem. Of course, anytime a quarterback's running around back there, the offensive linemen are trying to get in front of somebody. They reach out and get a hand on him.
Holding number 66, offense, first down.
Dave Cadigan it was on the hold, Joe. The first-round draft choice out of USC, first round in '88. Getting a start today, his 3rd start, and he's a young man that's going to have to come on for these Jets and their offensive line. He has been a disappointment so far.
It's a tough position, offensive lineman. You don't get that many good offensive linemen coming out of college, and they're playing against people they haven't seen the likes of week in and week out here in the NFL. 1st and 20, and it's Roger Vick on the handoff. Vick to the 37-yard line. Larry Kelm makes the tackle at that point. Good job of blocking on the left side of the Jets offensive line. This time Dave Cadigan's able to block Smith down and open a huge hole for Roger Vick in there. They still need 12 yards for first down. It's 2nd and 12 or so, but that was a good play.
There's Cadigan, 6'4", 280 pounds, out of Southern California. Eason again with time, and he's going deep for Townsell. He's got it. Jet touchdown, 63 yards.
Yes, that feels good.
JoJo Townsell beating Jerry Gray for the touchdown. For Townsell, his 5th of the season.
Watch where this ball drops in. Townsell reaches out and just gets his hands on that bad boy and takes it the rest of the way. Excellent pass protection, and Eason delivered.
So the long strike from Eason to Townsell, 63 yards, and Leahy is on to try to tie the game. Longest play of the year for the New York Jets. Ryan holds, Leahy boots it through. So the Jets, with a long striking pass to Townsell, have tied the game at 7. Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from the Big A in Anaheim, where Tony Eason has just pitched a 63-yard touchdown pass, and Leahy will kick it off after the Jets have tied the game at 7. Del Pino gathers it in at the 8-yard line. Makes a nice move to evade a couple of tacklers, then is stopped at the 28. Well, Tony Eason may not know the offense, Joe, but he's getting some good help here.
Well, he got some help from right here, Roger Vick, because coming through this gap, you're going to see the strong safety, Michael Stewart. Now, watch how Vick gets over there to pick up this block, and that's going to give Eason the extra time. Looky here, right there. That's a strong safety coming in on a blitz. Vick gives Eason the extra time, and it's one-on-one downfield when you lose one of those safeties on a blitz, and Townsell just ran past the corner.
And Eason did show us the strength of his arm there, Joe.
A good arm, no doubt.
So the Rams now with a tie score take over at their own 28. Pitch to Bell. Greg Bell cuts it back to the 35-yard line. Good gain on the play by Greg Bell. Benson and Clifton, the inside backers, finally get him down.
Well, it was a good play because there wasn't any jet pursuit that time. Loggeman, 56, did a good job of fighting to the outside and forcing Bell to cut back in. But when Bell cuts back in, the rest of that Jet defense is supposed to be over there smothering the play. The pursuit was very poor that time.
JoJo Townsell, what a year he's having. See that he is updated to right now. Had the most productive year of his career, far eclipsing all the other ones combined. Bell picks his way forward, breaks a couple of tackles and stumbles across the 45 to the 46-yard line. 11-yard gain, a good run by Greg Bell. Bobby Humphrey finally gets him to the turf.
Well, this is just good, hard, tough running by Greg Bell. He seems like an angry young man because people have pointed the finger at his statistics, but hey, he needs some help up front. Look at this running. Now, that's just hard second and third effort right there. Very good effort by Bell. Or you could call it poor tackling, Tom.
Yeah,
that's another thing you could call it.
A little of each. First down Rams at the 46-yard line. On the ground again, just short of midfield, is Del Pino, stopped by Jeff Loggeman.
Loggeman's having a pretty good year for the rookie. This time he's able to fall back in and make the play. The Jets are happy. Here he is on the left, number 56. You see he doesn't get blocked, but he comes down hard and is able to stop Del Pino. But they really like, the Jets really like Loggeman's growth so far. He hasn't been used to playing in a three-point stance as a down lineman. The Jets are asking him to play from there as well as a stand-up linebacker, and he's doing a good job for defensive coordinator Ralph Hawkins right there in front of you.
45 seconds left in the first quarter, 7-7 game. Everett pumps once and sends it deep. Flipper Anderson had it and dropped it. He would have scored. Bobby Humphrey was beaten on the play, and Flipper missed a touchdown there.
Well, Flipper Anderson, unique ability, being able to time his going after the ball, kind of pushes off Humphrey just a little bit, not enough for the official to say it's offensive pass interference. I give Bobby Humphrey a lot of credit on this play. I think he's step for step with Anderson, and certainly Anderson should have had 6 that time.
Rams come with their 4 wide receiver formation, the Fresno. It's the 1-2 punch of Anderson and Ellard. They are the first and only 2 receivers in Rams history over 1,000 yards in the same season. Everett again with plenty of time, and he throws it behind his intended receiver, Ron Brown. That'll bring up a punting situation for the Rams. Clifton was covering Brown, but Everett threw it behind him.
Oh, Everett didn't go into the throw. It looks like he's backing off the throw. He doesn't get his body into it at all and throws it really behind Ron Brown, and Kyle Clifton nearly could get his hands on it. But watch Everett's throwing motion. He doesn't follow through there. He's backing off the ball. That happens when you're used to getting hit a lot. Everett hasn't been getting hit a lot today.
Catcher's punt taken on a fair catch by Townsell. It only covered 28 yards, and the Jets will have it at about the 23-yard line.
You know, if we could look at that Everett release once again, I'm going to show you if there's a way, the classic short-armed release. I mean, he does not follow through here. He's kind of backing off on the throw, folks, and we call this short-arming it a little bit. Watch, he won't follow through on this thing. He's backing off, afraid of number 77. Look at him. That's not good for a quarterback to get in that habit. And you saw an errant pass. That's what happens with them. They turn into interceptions, too.
Gerald Nichols was putting on the pressure. So the Jets with a first down play, 27 seconds left in the first quarter. Townsell in motion. Vick spins his way across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Larry Kelm at the bottom of the stack for the Rams. That Eagle defense that Los Angeles plays very tough against the run, and the best gaining plays for the Jets have been through the air today. That'll be the final play of the first quarter as the clock ticks away, and there is the final second. At the end of the first quarter in Anaheim, we're tied. Jets 7, Rams 7. Jets and the Rams. This is early in his career. Look at this scrambling form. The man, bad knees and all, makes a good gain on the scramble. I thought it was Fran Tarkin for a minute. But a little later in his career when he played for the Rams, whoa, that every step very painful. But he gets the best out of it. A dive forward. Joe, you did have the privilege of playing for both these teams. Your mobility was a lot better early.
Well, earlier it was. I didn't have 2 severed hamstrings, but you did see that I tried for every last inch on that last dive, I want you to know.
Playing in Los Angeles had to be a little different from the weather, the elements you had in the Jets, although your best years were with the Jets. What sort of experience was it coming out here to Los Angeles after all those years in New York?
Well, it was kind of like going to a football heaven in a sense. The weather was so good. It was so pretty. You never had to confront the practice sessions of being out when it's 20, 25 degrees. But nothing takes the place of being with good people. And I had a great time in New York, not only because of the Jets themselves, but the fans. You know, they're still #1 back there.
Joe Namath, the first Jets player elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Johnny Hector on the carry. There's a flag down and an injured Jet as well. It appears to be Reggie McElroy.
Well, that's not a good sign because the Jets are already fit in that offensive line position because Mike Hate's been injured this week. I think we're going to see Kurt Singer come in at tackle to take McElroy's place.
Singer will. He's number 74.
We have offsetting fouls. Holding, number 68. Offense. Offside. Number 99. Defense. Penalties offset. Second down again.
Alvin Wright was offside for the Rams, and McElroy, who was injured, guilty of the hold. That's insult to injury. And Singer's in to replace him. Here are the first quarter stats, Joe.
Yeah, you know, they don't tell me a whole lot. I see yardage up there for rushing. I don't know how many times these guys have been running the ball, but it's the turnovers, the one thing that enabled the Rams to get back into it. If the Jets can avoid the turnovers as sharp as Eason is looking today, I think they can give this Ram team that's really not emotionally ready for the game. I don't think they can give this Ram team a tough battle, maybe come out on top. Depends on how Eason plays today. I don't think the Rams are really ready for the Jets, though. Of course, I've said that.
Joe Walton of the New York Jets, the man very much on the hot seat all season long, as McElroy is helped from the field. Well, if you missed NFL Live, here are the headlines from the show today. Mike Shanahan turned down the University of Kentucky job to remain as a Bronco assistant. Speculation by Bobby Beathard was that Shanahan wanted to be a pro head coach, a successful one again. He says that he may be the Broncos head coach when Dan Reeves retires. And Ralph Wiley said that Keith McCants of Alabama will come out after this, his junior year. There's a catch made again by Al Toon. Irvin went for the interception, and Toon had it for a first down.
Well, I'll tell you, it was very close. Eason nearly threw into coverage. In fact, I thought they were playing a kind of soft zone over there on Toon. Irvin really is not respecting anything deep, and the ball's high enough for Toon to get to, but over Irving's head, as you can see. But my goodness, Leroy Irvin was in excellent position for an interception that time.
Al Toon has caught 4 passes for 47 yards. That last one covered 11, and the Jets have a first down at their own 38-yard line. Opening minute of the second quarter, 7-7 game. There's Al Toon with a productive day already. Play action pass, Eason down the sideline, and this one is broken up at the last minute. Again intended for Philip Epps down the sideline, and Jerry Gray, who already has 1 interception, had a chance to make another and broke it up.
Well, you got to give Epps some credit here for helping break up that interception. Jerry Gray's running step for step, but Epps gets his hands in there. He tries to make the play, continues to fight for the ball. That's what the quarterbacks like about some receivers. They'll go up there, and they won't allow a guy to intercept it. They'll get up there and knock it down. And that time, Epps did a pretty good job.
Is Eason sending a message with these long attempts every now and then?
Yeah, to the Rams secondary. You know, they're going to have to loosen up eventually, and then he'll probably start hitting them underneath more. But the pass protection is what's impressed me so far for the Jets.
Well, there's another mix-up in the cadence, and that play will cost the Jets 5 yards, illegal procedure.
False start, number 61, offense, second down.
Jeff Criswell on the false start. The Jets offense hasn't looked in sync at times, Joe, but at other times the strong arm of Eason has been very productive.
Right. I don't think that was really Criswell's fault that time. It appeared Sweeney didn't come up with the ball for some strange reason. You'll see Eason start to pull away as well, and the ball's staying down. And look at Eason's moving and Criswell's moving. Of course, they're the only 2 guys moving. So I guess Eason and Criswell talked it over before the snap and went on their own count.
Second and 15 play. Again, play action pass. Eason has a man wide open. That's Al Toon again. And he's spun down by his jersey at about the 36-yard line by Anthony Newman.
Yeah, but Eason is getting in sync, I think. You know, that time I watched him, he came off of a receiver downfield. He wanted to get it farther down and came to his ace target in Al Toon for another good game. 61-7, and Houston's talking about going to the playoffs. I mean,
they still have a chance if they beat Cleveland in the House of May next week, but that has to be an embarrassing setback as the Bengals, after being upset at home by Seattle last week, come back in a big way. And they're still alive for the playoffs, although they need help. Washington looking for the playoffs, and Buffalo with the lead against the 49ers. Joe Montana in street clothes at that game. Hector spun down across the 40 to the 42-yard line by Kevin Green, and the Jets will have to punt.
Well, you wonder why they run that call. You know, you kind of hope that call would never work for them. That way you'd never see it. But they run this thing, I don't know how many times on 3rd and 12, and they make it work once. And so they say, hey, it's worked before, we're going to run it again. But it doesn't work 90% of the time.
Prokop will kick it to Henley. Snapper here is Schreiber, and gives it back to Prokop. A tumbling kick that Henley takes at the 25, cuts to the outside and then upfield. He's to the 33-yard line. It was a 36-yard punt, 9 yards on the return by Henley in a 7-7 game. MetLife Blimp with us today, 1,000 feet above Anaheim Stadium, a long way from its home base in Kissimmee, Florida. MetLife Blimp piloted today by Captain Mike Fitzpatrick of Newport, Rhode Island. 7-7 game with 12:51 left in the second quarter. And the Rams and Jim Everett taking over with a first down at their own 32-yard line. Everett immediately to the air. Down the sideline, wide open, Delpino hangs on to it with a diving catch. Gets up and takes it to the 39-yard line. James Hasty covering Delpino, who came out of the backfield wide open for a 25-yard gain.
Well, actually, Jeff Lagerman, the linebacker, tries to stay with Del Pino there at the top of your screen, but you see Del Pino breaks up the field, and Lageman was caught looking at the quarterback. He ends up coming down with the catch, but that was definitely Jeff Lageman's coverage.
Del Pino, in his second year out of Missouri, a fifth-round draft choice, is the fifth leading receiver for the Rams. That's his 29th catch. Tailback Bell on the handoff. With a short gain, the ball was at the 44-yard line, and he's down to the 40. Greg Bell, to me, Joe, looks like he's still running hard, as he told us yesterday. And even though the Rams' running game has not been as productive in recent weeks, Jim Everett told us he thought it was good enough to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. What do you think?
Well, I think the one-loss record is the only thing that really matters, but I don't think their running game is good enough at this point to make it to the Super Bowl. No.
Here's Bell again, and he's met immediately by Troy Benson and ridden down for a loss on the play. Well, there was an illustration of what you're telling. That's a pretty good call.
Troy Benson made a good play. I like this young man. He's hard-nosed, gives it one terrific effort out there. He doesn't have the speed that you'd like, but in the inside there, he does have enough of the size and bulk and the football instincts. You'll see Benson shoot right through there, number 54. Fought off the tackle of 56, Doug Smith, of the block to make the play.
As you saw, Benson has been the second leading tackler for the Jets this year. And twice led the University of Pittsburgh in tackles during his college career. This is 3rd and 11 for Los Angeles. Plenty of time for Everett. No pressure at all. None. Finally, he gets rid of it to Buford McGee. And McGee is to the 35-yard line, just short of the first down. Bobby Humphrey hanging on to McGee's legs for dear life, keeping him from getting to the first down marker, and it'll be 4th and about a yard, and it looks like the Rams will go for it.
72, eligible receiver. Number 72 is eligible.
Well, 72, Robert Cox. Normally a tackle comes in as another tight end. 6'5", 285. The Rams have converted 9 of 15 fourth down tries. This is 4th and 1 from the Jet 34. And the Jets jump offside. The quarterback alters his cadence, Jim Everett, and how many times do you see it? Jets offside.
False start, number 11, offense.
And they called it on Everett. Boy, that is a rare call indeed. The quarterback will bob his head to try to draw him off, and that time they caught him.
Well, let's see the movement of Everett. Oh, I think that's a lousy call. I'll tell you that. Everett doesn't jerk much. He doesn't jerk his head or his body around. He's just yelling his signals. What? Tell me if he's pulling him offside with his body's movement. No!
Well, you see much worse than that a lot of times.
Of course you do. You can bet that the Jet staff had a talk with the officials beforehand and said, watch Everett. He's jerking his head. He's jerking his body. And you're not allowed to do that.
Hatcher just had a punt sail into the end zone.
The ready for play signal was not given after the penalty.
We weren't ready, I know that, as the punt just sailed into the end zone, and John Robinson had Hatcher with a quick kick there. Hatcher will line up in punt formation again.
It was quick, Coach Robinson. It was so fast that nobody saw it.
On the game clock, 9:57.
Jerry Markbright heading the officiating crew, and Dale Hatcher the punter.
You know, that's the first time I saw that penalty called this season.
Yeah.
Where quarterback's jerking. And once again, I really didn't see enough movement on Everett's behalf to get that penalty called on him.
Townsell is standing at his own 10-yard line for the Jets. Hatcher tries to do a little pooch punt to get it out of bounds, and Townsell takes a fair catch just about the 10-yard line. 31-yard punt by Hatcher, and the Jets will have it deep in their own territory.
The National Football League is brought to you by Coors. Enjoy the original taste of Coors, the Rocky Mountain legend. By Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. Magnavox, smart, very smart. And by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right.
About 2 miles away from Disneyland here at Anaheim Stadium. You going over after the game, Joe?
I've been there, and it's a gas. You know, I've taken Jessica over there a couple of times, and I had as much fun as she did.
First down Jets at their own 10-yard line. Hector slipped down before he got to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Kevin Green made sure Hector didn't get up. And the already thin ranks of offensive linemen for the Jets have been reduced by one. Reggie McElroy has a sprained knee and will not return. Kurt Singer has taken his place.
Well, we saw the back lose his footing. A lot of you folks may have seen that Monday night game where Doug Smith, the center, didn't get the ball up to Everett, and that's the place on the field that is the most slippery. Here you see, look at how Hector's feet just give out from underneath him. Field looks good, but it's loose.
That was a key play, that fumble in the San Francisco game. Eason pumps once, delivers it to Vick. He's tripped up at the 10. No gain on that play. Good defensive job by Jerry Gray, who clamped on to Vick and wouldn't let go, kind of like a snapping turtle.
Well, Kevin Green got some pressure back there. Eason wanted to throw earlier and couldn't get the ball off because of the pressure, and by the time Eason got the ball out there, the defense had recovered. So that's a case where a linebacker's pressure, Green in this case, disrupts the play.
Well, last year the Jets were very good at third down conversions. This year they're one of the worst. One of the reasons is their big play guys, their veterans, for various reasons, have not been so productive. They're 0 of 2 so far in this game. Rams with their dime defense. Eason gets away from one man. The ball stripped loose. Who's got it? Rams ball at the Jet 1. George Bethune knocked the ball away from Tony Eason, and the Rams recovered.
George Bethune just makes a good play, able to get his hand inside there and knock the ball loose. The protection's not bad, but Eason tries to move around. Now watch, you see Bethune get his hand in here, right there, and pull the ball out. Now, that's just a good defensive play by Bethune.
Almost a Ram touchdown. Here's another angle. And Los Angeles will have it at the 1. Bell for the touchdown. Greg Bell with the 1-yard touchdown run. And the Rams immediately take advantage of the Jet turnover. The second turnover of the game. Eason had an interception leading to the Rams' first touchdown, and the fumble at the 1 leading here to the second. Mike Lansford for the extra point. Holohan is the holder. And the kick is true. Turnovers playing a big part in the score here. 14-7 Rams. Lansford ready to kick off as the Rams have taken a 14-7 lead. Humphrey gets to the sideline. There's a penalty marker down, and Humphrey is out of bounds around the 35-yard line, chased out by Darrell Henley. Penalty marker came flying in, and we'll check the call. Against the Jets, it'll nullify a good return by Humphrey.
Well, that call was made by the field judge and the back judge, and it was a good 25 yards away from the play. I know Coach Walton and these other coaches must wonder, how can a guy that far away call a holding penalty?
Holding, number 77 on the return. First down.
So the holding call going against Nichols. Gerald Nichols on the hold. And it backs the Jets up once again. The ball back at their own 15-yard line. Remember, just a moment ago, the Eason fumble recovered by Farinez led to the Ram 1-yard touchdown run. Greg Bell's 13th rushing touchdown of the season. Flag down again on the first down carry by Vick. Al Owens on the tackle for the Rams. Jerry Markbright again sorting it out. 7:56 left in the first half. 14-7 Rams.
False start. number 61. Offense, no play, 5 yards, first down.
Criswell on the false start, and the Jet offense moving in reverse here. Joe is a team that hasn't had success, frankly a bad team. How soon do you start to give up and wait for the other shoe to drop and say, oh no, here we go again?
Well, hopefully they're not thinking of that right now, but unfortunately you have to figure some of the guys are just playing out the season right now, especially guys that are borderline cases. You can't help but think about it, that adrenaline just isn't pumping the way it needs to be pumping to do the job 100% out here.
And on 1st and 15, Vick gets the call and gets to the 15-yard line. Anthony Newman, the free safety, making the tackle for the Rams. Well, Green Bay winning over Chicago, so that didn't help the Rams' cause. They now need Washington to lose today, and they take a victory over the Jets, and they would be in the playoffs as a wild card. Let's check that Washington score. It's 10-10 against the Falcons. Buffalo still clinging to that 3-0 lead at San Francisco. 49ers, of course, are also in. Buffalo fighting to get to the playoffs. Eason chased and slides down. Back at the 12-yard line, Fred Strickland flushed him from the pocket and got him down for a loss in the play. And it'll bring up 3rd and long for New York.
Well, Eason's going to try and get outside a little bit here, but he gets kind of cut off at the pass and pulls up. Now, all of his receivers are on that right side. When he comes back over here, there's only one more receiver, and he's cutting back. Eason just doesn't have anyone to throw to. You can bet he's thinking about turning the ball over again. I know as a quarterback, when you throw an interception and you have one knocked out of your hands, you just don't shake it off immediately. You become a little more cautious, and we may be seeing a more cautious Eason right now.
3rd and 13, 6 defensive backs for the Rams. Eason's pass no good. Intended for Toon, and Anthony Newman bowled Toon over. He never had a chance to catch it as the ball was blowing outside.
Oh, it's bad pass. Bad pass. Even if Toon is able to make the catch, he's not going to get the first down. Eason chose to go to Toon. I don't know why. He needed more yardage downfield. You can see they've been crossed up, obviously. They're talking things over.
So Prokop will have to kick from his own end zone. Henley deep for the Rams. Good kick by Prokop. Henley calls for a fair catch at his own 44-yard line. A 44-yard kick by Prokop. Now let's check in with Bob Costas.
All right, Tom, 5.5 minutes to play in overtime at Cleveland. Matt Barr set for what could be a game-winning 24-yard field goal, but on 3rd down, they fake it. Here's Mike Pagel, the backup quarterback, rolling and finding the linebacker Van Waiters for the winning touchdown. Had this play backfired, they still had one more down left to try the field goal. As it is, they win in OT, 23-17. Tom?
All right, Bob, thank you very much. As the Cleveland Browns stay alive, Minnesota also still alive for the playoffs. Everett's first down pass to Holohan. He's got it for a first down into Jet territory. Eric McMillan stops him after a 19-yard gain, and the Rams now starting to chew up big chunks of yardage against this Jet secondary.
Well, this passing attack of the Rams is sensational. They go to seams. They try to split the seams in the defense, and Everett isn't the only one that has to read. The receivers have to read the coverage of the defense, and that's why they've been successful, because they've worked on it now with Ernie Zampese. These guys have become accustomed to reading defenses, and this passing game is hot.
On first down, Greg Bell on the pitch, cuts back and is taken soundly to the turf by Ron Stallworth. Tom Newberry leading the interference for Greg Bell, who gets about 5 yards on the play.
Jets right now need somebody out there in the defense to get fired up. They need somebody to take control of this thing, show some emotion out there. Coach Hawkins, the defensive coordinator, says they have so much speed over there on the Rams side that he's got to mix his coverages up. He doesn't want to dare get one-on-one with the speed of the Rams, so he's going to play a lot of zone defense. But Jets should show a little more enthusiasm, get fired up out there.
Second down play for Jim Everett. Del Pino flagged down. Del Pino got a couple of yards. Troy Benson able to stack up the run. One of those tough inside linebackers. He and Clifton have done a good job for the Jets all season. Holding call against the Rams.
Holding number 56 Offense, second down.
Doug Smith, the veteran center, who's been to 5 straight Pro Bowls, is called for the hold there. Smith playing in his 155th game as a Ram today. Jackie Slater, 14 years in the league, is playing game number 192 this afternoon. And you see the penalty situation. 4:52 and counting in the second quarter. There's 14-year veteran Slater. Everett sends it deep, intended for Anderson, who comes back to get it and scores. To get the ball, Bobby Humphrey did not, and it's a 43-yard touchdown for Willie Flipper Anderson, his 5th receiving touchdown of the season.
Well, that's what Anderson does best, his anticipation of the ball, being able to change his pattern, stop, go up for it, time his leap. This is his forte. He does it better than anyone I've seen, and Coach Robinson says the same thing. It's a great ability he has.
He never likened Anderson to a thoroughbred horse. He's so smooth and doesn't look like he's going fast, and he's flying. Here's the extra point by Lansford. It's good. And the Los Angeles Rams have extended their lead over the New York Jets on the touchdown catch by Flipper Anderson. It's now 21-7, Los Angeles over New York.
Here's a look at that last play. Right here is Flipper Anderson. He's just going to go straight down the field, and you'll see the ball is badly underthrown, but is it? You know, is it? I don't know. Everett just puts the ball up there hoping that Anderson will get to it. He doesn't want to overthrow it because Anderson does such a good job of adjusting. So I don't know that that's kind of intentional on Everett's part, just to give Anderson a chance to get to the ball.
I think you're giving a fellow quarterback, the benefit of the doubt.
No, I'll tell you what. We had that play. We had an intentional underthrow with Don Maynard of the Jets years ago when bump and run first came into vogue. They would climb up on Don and would let Don run down the field and throw the ball. At least don't overthrow him and let him make the adjustment, and that's what Everett does here. He throws that thing downfield, and the adjustment is all made by the receiver. Nichols getting there just a little bit late. I tell you, Everett doesn't mind that hit. Now when he gets 6 points up on the board.
Well, there's Flipper Anderson, who is averaging nearly 27 yards a catch. That's updated now to the moment. And, of course, he had that amazing game against the Saints when he caught an NFL record 336 yards worth of passes in one game. That's a season for some receivers. Kickoff taken by Humphrey. Gets to the outside. Tries to put on a move and is taken down on a good open field tackle there by Jerry Gray. 19-yard return by Bobby Humphrey. Well, Santa's here, enjoying it, obviously, as the Rams have built a 21-7 lead. What do you think the Jets are going to ask for Santa for Christmas here, Joe?
Well, you know what they're going to ask for, that new GM they're trying to get from New England and Dick Steinberg, and after that, it's anyone's guess. But it definitely looks like the Jets are making a move to shore up their football front office.
Football man to be in charge, general manager, and the status of Joe Walton in question. Will he be back for his 8th season? Will a new general manager want his own man?
Well, I got to believe that Steinberg's going to want his own man in there.
If it is indeed Dick Steinberg, are you telling us some inside information that it will be he, as Toon makes a short reception?
Well, I don't think it's so much inside. I think everyone back in New York, the New England area, is pretty well aware that Mr. Hess has asked for permission to talk with Steinberg and received it. And tell you what, the Jets have a lot to offer to a young man.
As far as the speculation goes, there's what Steve Gutman said. No hard news. There will be no news from the Jets until there is something concrete.
Yeah, but if you're a betting guy, I'm telling you, go with Steinberg right now.
2nd and 8 for New York. Eason sacked. Brett Fairnez with the sack. And he got by Jeff Criswell to get on Eason. So the Jets again are having trouble moving the football against Rams.
That's it, Tony. You know, Criswell's in excellent position here, but somehow Fairnez just reaches around him. He's close enough. He's pushed Criswell backwards to get onto Eason. Now, Criswell goes 290 pounds. I mean, Fairnez is either the strongest guy out there. Criswell had very poor technique on the last play.
Well, it's 3rd and 12, and this is the situation the Jets do not want to be in. These 3rd and longs, you see how many sacks they've allowed, now 54. And the defense knows they have to pass. That one is complete, short to Johnny Hector, fighting for yardage, but not even close to the first down. And the Rams will stop the clock with a timeout and 2:54 remaining. Brian Smith and Anthony Newman were the guys that made the tackle for Los Angeles. Well, you've been mentioning Dick Steinberg, who is Director of Player Development for the New England Patriots. The Jets asked for permission to talk to Steinberg to perhaps become their new general manager. The speculation has been that he will be the man running the football operation for New York next season. That, of course, leads to the speculation about Joe Walton. Will a new general manager, Steinberg or whomever, want their own man at the helm?
Well, I'm sure he will. I know he'll come in and probably evaluate the coaching situation, but the Jets need a facelift. They need a change of pace now, and I could see Steinberg wanting to bring in his own head coach, certainly.
Do you think Joe Walton has done a good job?
I thought he'd done a pretty good job. I thought he worked hard. He is a hard worker. The team is not one. He's had 2 winning seasons now in 7, so if that's any measuring stick, you've got to make the change. But so many things go into coaching, and being an ex-player, I've got no sympathy for the guys on the field that don't perform properly, and the Jets certainly, to a player, haven't performed up to their capabilities.
Nice punt by Prokop. Henley makes a scrambling fair catch back at the 15-yard line. That one covered 50 yards off the foot of Prokop. 2:46 left in the first half here, and hope you'll stay with us at intermission. Coming up for you at halftime on NFL Live, Bob Costas and O.J. Simpson will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights on this, the next to last weekend of the regular season. All sorts of playoff implications. As we look at the NFL Live gang, very grim in this picture, but they'll be bringing you all the up-to-date information on Week 15 in the NFL. Rams with a first down at their own 16. Do you kill the clock here, or do you go for more, Joe?
Well, they're going for more. They didn't call timeout to get out of this half. They know they have a soft defense to work against, so they're taking advantage of every opportunity.
Ramon Johnson, the tight end, with a catch to the 20-yard line. 5 or 6 yards. Alex Gordon, Bobby Humphrey covering Johnson, getting him out of bounds, which stops the clock at 2:41.
You know, you might say, well, the Jets aren't pressuring Everett. They need to blitz him, get somebody back on him. But meantime, if Coach Walton sends his defense on blitzes, they're isolating their defensive backs one-on-one with the fastest receivers they've seen. And so the Jets are afraid to send anyone from their secondary in there.
Jets have their dime defense on the field right now. They do have 4 down linemen. And Del Pino cuts it back the other way. He's got a first down and more, ridden out of bounds at the 39-yard line by Leander Knight. That's a 16-yard run by Robert Del Pino, who may be the back of the future for these Los Angeles Rams. Certainly very high in the estimation of John Robinson and his abilities.
Now here's a look on the telestrator. Kerry Glenn, the defensive back here, gets suckered inside. He has outside responsibility here, and by getting suckered inside, the play's going to break out. Look, now by giving up that support outside, he's given Del Pino the whole outside of the field. A very bad play by Kerry Glenn.
First down Rams at their own 39. Clock shows 2.5 left in the second quarter. That pass dropped. Aaron Cox had a chance to catch it. He had some room against Bobby Humphrey. Everett dropped it over a linebacker's head and right into Cox. He's now hit 9 of 15.
Oh, boy, this is a quarterback's dream. To get back there, you know you have more speed than the other guys. Your pass protection sensational. Everett's throwing on rhythm. He's throwing everything on rhythm right now, and so he's able to get the ball there accurately. How does he feel about a dropped pass? Well, take a look.
4 wide receivers in the game for the Rams. Cox in motion. Instead, it'll be McGee for short yardage, a yard to the 40, where Gerald Nichols stops him for the Jets.
Oh, the Rams are doing the Jets a big favor by running the ball. I don't know why Everett just doesn't open it up right now and throw every down. I'm going to take a break here at the 2-minute warning. mainly because it's about 3rd and 9, and I guess the Rams are backing off just a little bit with the clock.
And we will reach the 2-minute warning from the Big A in Anaheim. The Rams leading the Jets 21-7. Quarterback Jim Everett, having his best day as a pro, or his best year as a pro, has just gone over 4,000 yards. 4,039, the first Ram to eclipse that milestone. A milestone that was set for the first time by my partner Joe Namath, who went over 4,000 yards back in 1967. First quarterback to ever do it. Did it with a 14-game schedule. Everett adds to that 4,000-yard total as he catches Henry Ellard wide open, a diving catch for 21 yards.
Sure, why not throw every play? Heck, he's getting terrific protection. His receivers are finding open spots. I'd just keep throwing the ball until they stopped it.
That may be next week. First down play, Jim Everett across the middle, wide open, Holohan, taken down by Kyle Clifton, but not before he made the catch. That's around a 9 or 10-yard gain. Very efficient use of the clock here by the Rams, too, in the final 2 minutes plus.
Well, the Jet defense isn't doing anything to throw Everett off sync. This passing game is on rhythm every time. Now they stick a draw at him and get big yardage. So you've got to do something defensively to throw off the rhythm of the Ram passing game.
McGee with a big gainer, 14 yards before Carl Howard makes the stop. The ball at the 14-yard line, and the Rams with a first down inside the final minute. Ralph Hawkins and his defense scrambling here. Pass, Everett, broken up in the end zone by Glenn. Terry Glenn with good defense on Henry Ellard, who is the intended receiver.
Oh, good defense. A bad throw by Everett. A bad selection of receivers this time. He had 3 white shirts around there. Once again, it's good protection, but you see all the white shirts where the ball is going. Glenn actually gets a good hand on the ball. Is almost making the interception, but good defense that time, and a poor selection certainly by Everett.
Second down play coming up from the Jet 14. You see the timeouts remaining, 53 ticks on the clock. Everett looks to the end zone. Flipper Anderson double covered. There's Cox, and he had 2 men around him, and so Everett throws it into, what's that, the 4th or 5th row, Joe?
It was about the 4th row. Cox ended up coming open, but by the time Cox did get open, Everett had already decided to throw the ball away.
Everett has hit 11 of 19 for 213 yards and a pair of touchdowns in the first quarter.
Bobby Humphrey treating Flipper Anderson a bit rudely, pushing him off the field. Good defense by Bobby Humphrey.
Fans saw that one on the big screen. That's why you hear the boos. 3rd and 10 for Los Angeles from the Jet 14. 47 seconds left. Everett lofts it for the corner. Anderson can't get there. He was interfered with by Humphrey.
I don't believe this call. We've got to see this again. I tell you, it didn't look like Humphrey did a thing except have good coverage that time.
Pass interference, number 48, defense, automatic first down.
Humphrey's had a long afternoon trying to cover Flipper Anderson and whistled for interference on this play.
Well, let's take a look. Can we see what's going on over here? I don't see any interference. Anderson, geez, the ball's even out of bounds. I don't know. Of course, Anderson's pointing back there like there was some interference. There was a hand up there, and obviously enough for the judge to make the call.
I don't even know if that was a catchable pass.
That was a lousy call. Lousy call.
Robert Cox in as a separate tight end. Ball at the 5 and a pitch to Bell. Walker's in front. Jets string it out, but Bell cuts back to score. Nice little piece of running there by Greg Bell, a 5-yard scamper. And with only 38 seconds left in the half, the Rams are threatening to make this one a rout.
A nice piece of running and a poor effort, a poor display of tackling. The pursuit wasn't over there fast enough for the Jets, and when they did get over there, missed the tackle. So good going, Greg Bell, but really poor defense on the Jets' behalf.
Mike Lansford for the extra point. And the kick is good. So the Rams use the clock to perfection to get another score before the half. 2 in this game, and he's done that 5 times this season. Joe, have the Jets packed it in? Have they given up?
I don't know how they can. It certainly looks like it to me. They're so lethargic out there. But the thing is, these guys are going to continue to get evaluated by the new man that comes in. Their paydays next year, and even their position on this team is going to possibly depend on how they play these last 2 games.
That was Epps that picked up the squib kick and took it to the 30-yard line. Let's check some other scores now with just 32 seconds left before halftime. These are the early games, that overtime and frigid conditions at Cleveland Stadium, with the Browns eking out the overtime win. Trick play, as Bob Costas told us a while ago. Kansas City's playoff hopes, as well as Miami's, hurt by losses today. Pittsburgh's still alive, believe it or not. Buffalo still up 3-0, and Atlanta 27-10 over the Redskins. This game becomes more difficult to figure out every week. Penalty, and we'll kick again on that last kickoff. Ram looks kind of lonely down there, and these Rams are look like they're for a day in the park. They got the sun visors on, Joe. They're all reared back there on the bench enjoying it.
Oh, big Jackie Slater, number 78 there. We played together with the Rams. Doing a good job in his 14th year. Not as good a job as he did last year, but right now these Rams are out cruising. They're just having a nice Sunday afternoon down here in Anaheim.
They all, to a man, said that the loss Monday night against the 49ers was one of the toughest they had ever experienced, and Jim Everett said it was Thursday before he started getting over it. He couldn't sleep all week long, and Jackie Slater said that they'll always remember that they gave that one away. Well, the lineman grabs that one. It was an abortive effort as Gerald Nichols picks it up and rambles ahead for a couple of yards. Well, we come down to the final season with a lot of playoff things to be decided. Next Saturday it'll be underway with NFL Live, Costas, Simpson and company, and you'll see the Bills against the Jets starting at noon from Giant Stadium. Then on Sunday, the Raiders against the Giants, preceded by NFL Live, starting at 12:30. I don't know if I can remember a season, Joe, when so many playoff spots still up for grabs in week 16 of the NFL season.
Yeah, I don't know of any. It certainly leads for parity or equal talent, but taken away from building what they call a dynasty, the way these draft systems are working today.
Eason's short pass to Hector keeps the clock going, if nothing else.
Go a little deeper this time.
Yeah, I think they need to go a little deeper, down 28-7. They're going to run this one, and the first half will come to an end on a Roger Vick carry of the football. Well, now the Jets call a timeout with 5 seconds left. Why do you call a timeout if you're going to run Roger Vick up the middle?
To show everyone that they're still trying. You know, they say, all right, we have 5 seconds. We're going to take a shot here. I don't know why they're running the ball up the middle of the last play. They should have been taking a shot from the goal, throwing the ball downfield. With 5 seconds left now, Eason can simply go back deep and throw it down the field and either hope for a great catch, a big play from one of his teammates, or an interference call.
Right now, Joe, this Jet team seems to me to be like a rudderless ship. They just, and speaking of rudderless ships, hopefully that one does have a rudder, or we could have company here at the Big A.
Yeah, the emotions are low right now. They know changes are being made, and there's no way. This is still an emotional game, football. The winners are usually fired up and getting out there and giving all of their concentration and effort in it, and there's no way the Jets' heads are in this game. Their hearts are not in this game. They're going through turmoil, and it shows.
Eason will pass this time. We'll try to. There's another sack by that Ram defense as the Jets surrender yet another sack of their quarterback. I think that's their 55th sack given up during this 1989 season. So the first half comes to an end, and that last play sort of summarized things. The jammed shoulder, and then suffered a concussion last week and hurt his arm, and everything's been going wrong for him. They said he could play, but not a whole game.
I do not know why the Jets have made this change. They better have a darn good reason, because O'Brien hasn't thrown all week. He's supposed to get an arthrogram on his shoulder tomorrow, an arthroscopic surgery to follow. Did Eason get hurt? Is there something we don't know about? O'Brien shouldn't be out there.
Jam shoulder for Ken O'Brien, playing anyway and handing off to Roger Vick. Vick twisted down at the 5-yard line. And it'll be 2nd and 10 coming up. Mike Wiltshire on the tackle. Here's a look at the first half stats in this game, and they'll be overwhelmingly in favor of the Rams.
Oh, they sure are. The Jets, they're averaging 3 yards a rush. There's no running game, actually. Their passing game has been poor. The blocking hasn't been good. The Rams on the other side, no turnovers and doing about what they want. Hey, you know what's misleading is that time of possession. It looks like a tie game in time of possession.
So Tony Eason not starting the second half. Ken O'Brien, jammed shoulder and all, is in there. Pat Ryan, remember, the other Jet quarterback, suffered a concussion against the Steelers a week ago. But O'Brien is in there with that bad shoulder, and so far he's not tested it. They've had 2 running plays that have netted very little. In fact, 0 on 2 runs, and it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 5-yard line.
Really surprised O'Brien is out there. Eason appears to be all right over there. We're waiting on word from Frank Ramos, the Jets public relations director, to tune us in. Tell us why O'Brien's out there not practicing all week and with an inflamed shoulder and a healthy Eason on the sideline. I can't figure it out.
Well, O'Brien now will try that shoulder. Evades one tackler in the end zone and lets it go. It's complete to Newbert, the tight end, and he's got a first down at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, but after O'Brien threw that pass, he started moving his arm around a little bit like it's stiff. I mean, you've got to wonder if this kind of thing's going to continue to irritate his arm. He hangs in there and buys some time by moving around and throws an excellent pass after that. I mean, he put some heat on it and got it outside. Tough pass to throw. Yeah, he's going to get out of the way. Kevin Green almost gets another sack, but O'Brien didn't even follow through on it and still got it out there. But watch it now. He's going to start getting that arm up there. You know, it's not quite as loose as I'd like it.
Roger Vick, first down run. Irvin and Kelm on the tackle for the Rams.
All right, are you folks in New York ready for this one? A coaching decision. No injury to Eason, but a coaching decision has O'Brien back in the game.
And a coaching decision that you do not agree with.
Oh, no way I agree with it. No way. O'Brien's arm is not healthy. We need to find out how Eason's going to do for the future. The Jets are trying to find out. The people coming in. It's valuable time to get Eason out there and playing.
Ken O'Brien with a 2nd and 6. Roger Vick found a pretty good hole and got it to the 30-yard line, close to another first down. Kelman Newsom combining for the hit for the Rams, and it will be enough for a Jet first down. Their 2nd first down on this drive, which began at their own 5-yard line.
You know, the only thing I can figure out why O'Brien is in there instead of Eason is the play selection or the audibles possibly that Eason had been using earlier in the first half were not the right plays to go to. And so they put O'Brien in. That's the only thing I can figure out.
A couple of tight ends in there now on first down from the 31-yard line. Johnny Hector with a carry. A couple of yards to the 33 or 34. Wiltshire will get credit for the tackle for the Rams. How did you assess the first half play by Tony Eason?
Well, he made a couple of bad decisions, too, in a couple of plays, but I thought he showed us he could throw the ball, certainly, most of the time to the right guy. But what I had mentioned earlier about Tony Eason at the beginning of the game was not so much his grasping this offense 100%, but the guy hasn't worked for 6-7 weeks. He hasn't been under pressure. He hasn't seen full speed out there yet, so he's bound to be rusty.
Toon in motion. O'Brien's second pass headed Toon's way. No, it was way off the mark, intended for Burkett, who was over on the sideline, and O'Brien did not look good on that toss.
Well, O'Brien did the right thing, though. I'll tell you why. Gray, the cornerback, was all over that pattern. Burkett didn't scare Gray a little bit, and by the time that ball got out there, it's a good thing it was thrown far to the outside. I think Burkett just ran the wrong pattern.
Well, O'Brien with 2 concussions and a jammed shoulder, and Pat Ryan had the tough hit from Thomas Everett a week ago to suffer a concussion. There's the 12-year veteran from Tennessee. And the quarterbacks have indeed taken their lumps. O'Brien loads and fires. It's dropped. Newbert dropped it. He would have had a first down.
Yeah, that's frustrating. The young tight end who, in Joe Walton's eyes, certainly has shown great improvement now just in his first year, and good receiver. He doesn't drop a lot of them. He's known for his hands, but basically block it. He should have caught that one.
Prokop with a 4th down punt. Another good punt. Fair catch called for and taken at the 20-yard line by Henley. That was a 47-yard boot by Joe Prokop. We'll take a break as the Rams will have it for the first time this half.
From General Motors and by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future now at your Oldsmobile dealer.
Tom Hammond and Joe Namath from Anaheim, California. Tommy Roy, our producer. J.D. Henson, our director. Jim Everett leads the Rams to the line of scrimmage for their first possession of the second half, leading the Jets 28-7. Everett's got McGee wide open. McGee fumbles the football, and the Jets pick it up. Well, the Jets get a break there as the ball is picked up by Hasty. He turns it back over to the Rams, and Los Angeles gets it back. Aaron Cox recovered the Hasty fumble, and Buford McGee, I should say, recovered it after Cox knocked it loose. That was one of the wilder plays we'll see. Let's watch it again, see if we can sort it out now. Here's McGee. He fumbles the ball. Hasty gets a good hop, picks it up. Here's McGee tracking him, and McGee knocks it free. And then Aaron Cox on the scoop has it back for the Rams.
This is what happens when the ball's loose and you're a quarterback. Those defensive players come hunting up the quarterback. They need to make a play on him. I think it was only justice that McGee was the one that caused the fumble on Hasty after he was the one that fumbled it in the first place.
Well, after that comic sequence, we'll give the Rams a first down at the 46-yard line of the New York Jets. That wasn't exactly the way Everett had drawn it up, but it worked. Everett's pass. Anderson almost got it. Knocked into the air by Humphrey, and Anderson almost cradled it with one hand as he was being taken down.
Bobby Humphrey does a terrific job on this play. What a tough job one-on-one outside with these guys, all that speed. Humphrey got his right arm up there and just smacked at that ball and knocked it loose from Flipper Anderson. Terrific recovery. Now watch this right arm of Bobby Humphrey. You see how it got up there? He's still tipping that ball. And they're both fighting for that rascal. That's just good effort.
Humphrey's going to be seeing 83 in his dreams or nightmares after this game. He did a good job there. Hand off to Del Pino. Robert Del Pino with about a 3-yard gain. Alex Gordon ready for the running play for the Rams that time as a fight breaks out. Duval Love was the man that initiated it for the Rams. Maybe that'll put a little life in the Jets. Troy Benson was mixing it up with Love. John Robinson patrolling the sideline. Well, the Jets forcing the fumbles, but recovering only 3 of them.
You know, that tells me not only do they have bad hands, but you're not getting enough people around the ball. You know, there's not enough pursuit, and that's what happens with the running game. They're not getting enough players to the ball often enough.
Everett to Anderson, broken up again by Hasty this time. Good recovery by Hasty to get in there and bat the ball away.
Yeah, well, Everett's developing a bad habit here. You watch how Everett throws this ball again. It's really underthrown, and once again, Everett's not following through with his throws. He's getting into the bad habit of pulling off his throw. He's shying away from the rush.
Everett 12 of 22 on the afternoon, 238 yards and a pair of touchdowns. On the sideline now as Hatcher will punt on 4th down. Townsend just watches it sail. And it hits the end zone on the fly. So the Rams punt on their first possession. And it's still 28-7 Los Angeles. The New York Jets almost on their way to losing their 11th game of the season. They're looking for a general manager. Who better to choose than a former great player for the Jets? Now, I know this NBC job's a little too cushy for you to give up to go with the Jets, but what about what if? What if you were the Jets general manager?
Well, if I were the general manager, the first thing I'd do is have to assess the coaching staff after I had complete control of the team, of course. When I say assess the coaching staff, we're talking about the assistant coaches as well, not just the head coach.
There's a pass to Roger Vick, who fights his way close to a first down. All right, what else would you do now if you were the Jets general manager?
Well, I definitely want to get a defensive player, either Keith McCants from Alabama, Pierce Snow from Michigan State, or the Cortez Kennedy, a defensive lineman from Miami. I need somebody out there that's a dominant, and I would get out of Giant Stadium. Somehow I'd ask the Jets to some way build my own facility. And before I do all that, I'd change uniforms. I tell you, I'd want to get rid of this look and this feel as quickly as I could. The Jets have changed uniforms in the past. Teams do it all the time. I'd want a whole different look when I take over.
Roger Vick with a first down run. Well, you know, drafting is going to be a big priority for the new general manager, and the Jets have sputtered in the draft a few years in recent history, and here are some choices that the new general manager might have. Players coming out of college, the ones in white there are juniors who may come out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will come out. I talked to Bobby Beathard about these players, and Bobby enlightened me to Cortez Kennedy. Certainly is a real dominant defensive lineman. He plays every down 100% of the time. Kind of looks like the refrigerator Perry, but the Jets need some dominant player in that defensive front.
Townsell can't catch up with the O'Brien pass. He had the defense beaten. He was way behind Anthony Newman, but O'Brien scrambling couldn't get the ball on target. Well, Keith McCants is only a junior, but the word is that he will come out and turn pro. Ralph Wiley on the NFL Live show this morning predicting not only that he would come out, but that he would be the #1 draft choice. And the Jets will be drafting very high. We don't know exactly how high yet, of course, because the season not yet over. As it stands now, they would draft second. And Atlanta, Joe, is winning today over the Redskins. So Dallas has already forfeited that #1 pick. It'll either be Atlanta or the Jets. San Diego also won today. Swing pass complete to Johnny Hector. He's to the 40-yard line. Gained about 3 yards. That was Fred Strickland. Made the stop for the Rams.
You know, talking with Joe Walton yesterday, we did bring up the draft and what this team needs, and one of the areas Coach Walton spoke of was speed at wide receiver. Said they needed to go after some speed. It'd be great to be able to find some offensive linemen, but Joe Walton says that offensive line position is so tough to learn. You very rarely find a rookie come in that can really contribute. And the colleges these days aren't putting out the kind of offensive linemen. They're just not ready for the NFL.
From the shotgun, O'Brien. And that catch made by Burkett. Chris Burkett has a first down into Ram territory at the 44-yard line. 17-yard strike. O'Brien to Burkett. Covered by Darrell Henley.
Yeah, Henley does a pretty good job up at the top of your screen. Burkett's going to put a move and break across the middle here. The ball, I don't know how he ends up catching it because Henley's right there. I tell you how he caught it. O'Brien put it right in his breadbasket that time. He had to catch it.
Joe Walton said they haven't had time to study the draft. They've been concentrating on the games from week to week, but he also said that they needed to just keep adding. He's pretty happy with his young defensive lineman and his young defense overall. Here's Brown passing back to O'Brien. O'Brien looks downfield, and it's broken up at the last minute by Jerry Gray. Well, Gray had a lot of territory to cover. He was bearing down on the receiver and just got there at the right instant.
Well, O'Brien went away from Toon. Toon was his main receiver on the right side of your screen. You'll see O'Brien look to the right side of your screen. Toon's going to be covered. And then he's going to try and get the ball all the way back across the field. And with a healthy arm, this is a tough throw. You see, he's throwing that ball a good 65 to 70 yards across that field there. And Gray closes on it quickly. He's looking. Well, actually, he doesn't even look for my man Toon down there. I'd be looking for him first all the time.
O'Brien this time throws it to no one. Newbert was closest to it.
Yeah, but he had a crowd around him. He had about 3 blue jerseys there, and I'm not too sure O'Brien didn't throw that away intentionally.
It'll be third down coming up for Ken O'Brien. 4 of 9 since entering the game in the second half. Tony Eason started the game, played the first half. Coach Joe Walton and his staff electing to go with a banged-up Ken O'Brien here to start the third quarter.
See, this really surprises me. Earlier they said that the throwing wouldn't inflame the arm anymore. In the meantime, they have an arthrogram scheduled for O'Brien's shoulder and arthroscopic surgery. Yet he's out there giving it his best.
Brian Smith, the rookie out of Auburn, gets that sack. 5 sacks on the day for the Los Angeles Rams, and they were drooling when they saw how many the offensive line had given up for the Jets. Criswell shaken up a little bit. Well, the sack attack has been in full force today.
Well, the Jets' pass protection really hasn't been good. The players as individuals have broken down. They've been put in some awful come-from-behind situations, forced-to-pass situations, and that's led to the sacks, too. But basically, it's just been poor play by that offensive line of the Jets.
Hicks calls for a fair catch, takes it at the 19-yard line off the Prokop punt. It's covered 33 yards. Timeout at Anaheim Stadium. Rams in control.
All week long, dial 1-900-454-3500 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the USA.
John Robinson could be celebrating a return to the playoffs today. Right now, he has a 28-7 lead over the New York Jets. And he's looking to get in as a wild card. First down play for the Rams from their own 19. Greg Bell taking a lot of would-be tacklers with him almost to the 25-yard line. Troy Benson finally wrestled him to the turf. Well, the Rams could be in the playoffs. They can't catch the 49ers for the division, but if they win this game and Washington loses, then they are in. That's the entire picture for the Rams, the different ways they can clinch a spot. And right now, unless the Redskins rally from 17 points down against the Falcons, and this one holds up 28-7, the Rams will be in as a wild card. Pitch to Bell. Cuts back. He's done that several times effectively today, and he has a Ram first down. Stopped just short of the 35-yard line. Jeff Lageman makes the tackle. Veteran Jackie Slater leading the interference for Greg Bell.
Well, Alex Gordon, the linebacker, strings this play out nicely. Where's the Jet pursuit? They all overrun the play, and no one comes back in there. Stallworth comes in late, but that was an awful good hit by Lageman, but the backside pursuit of the Jet defense hasn't been there all day. That's why we're seeing this cutback run.
Greg Bell's carried 14 times for 49 yards and a pair of touchdowns. It's the call again. That was Cleveland Gary, actually, 43 and not 42 that carried that one. Cleveland Gary is the rookie first-round draft choice out of Miami, the third leading rusher on this Ram team, and a man that is very much in the plans of John Robinson for the future.
Oh, he likes Cleveland Gary. Good hard runner. Good pass receiver. You know, it's interesting. We see Greg Bell playing so much today, and whenever we talk to Robinson, he just talked about Del Pino and Cleveland Gary as being his backs of the future.
You're right. High formation here. Gary, the tailback, on the handoff. Slipped away from a couple of tacklers. Good game, close to a first down. Gary was the most valuable player in the Senior Bowl after his Miami playing days were over. Made some All-American teams. He mentioned his receiving abilities. In fact, Joe, he set a Hurricane record with 57 receptions in 1988. And first went to college at Georgia, then came to Miami and had to play behind Highsmith and Bratton. But has come into his own, and there's the rushing comparison. Gaston Green out of UCLA was the #1 pick by the Rams in 1988. He may not be in the plans of John Robinson. John said it didn't seem suited for the new type offenses that are coming into vogue against the gap defenses prevalent now in the NFL. Damone Johnson with that reception from Jim Everett.
Well, this is a good play by the Rams. Delone Johnson breaks to the outside, and there's no one to cover him. You see Benson let him go, and Eric McMillan's the first one to get over there. Johnson just gets in that dead spot at the seam of that zone defense, and Everett read him and got the ball to him.
First down play for the Rams from the Jet 49-yard line. 28-7, Los Angeles with 2:15 in the third quarter. Greg Bell back in the game. And a pretty nice run. He's to the 45-yard line. Didn't appear to be much there, and he got 4 yards. Well, the offensive line is so important to the success of a football team, and that veteran offensive line of the Rams doing a job on the Jets today. And really, that's a building block for any successful franchise. And some astute drafting by the Rams, Joe. Not a first-round pick in that group, but a very effective unit.
That's right. 2 free agents in there, and one free agent, Doug Smith, been to the Pro Bowl along with Jackie Slater and Tom Newberry, the guard. So these second and third rounders have certainly developed nicely for the Rams.
And of course, the Jets on the other side of the coin struggling with their offensive line. Holohan takes that pass from Everett. He's inside the 30, a 17-yard gain. Jeff Lageman chases him down.
Holohan on the top of your screen is going to get outside of Clifton right there. He's outside of Clifton and outruns Lageman. He splits that seam once again, and he gets his little bit of congratulations from Everett right there. A happy young man, Pete Holohan.
Yeah, he's the second leading receiver on this Ram team, trailing only Henry Ellard. He's made 4 catches for 70 yards and a score today. A candidate for a Budweiser MVP, which we'll be selecting at the end of the game. Everett buying some time, flips it short to McGee. Wrapped up, taken down at the 24-yard line by Eric McMillan, the Pro Bowl secondary, Pro Bowl safety, I should say, in the secondary for the Jets. A lot of football next weekend for you, the final weekend of the season. NFL Live starts things off at noon, and then you'll see Buffalo against the Jets. Buffalo trying to make the playoffs. And then on Sunday, NFL Live at 12:30 with the Raiders against the Giants. And the Giants are in the playoffs, the Raiders hoping to get there. Final seconds ticking off here in a scoreless third quarter from Anaheim Stadium. And that'll be it for 3 periods, with the Rams leading the New York Jets 28-7. There is a dyed-in-the-wool Ram fan. Look at that haircut. He's got the Ram horns on there. And there's a former future first-round draft choice. I don't know if they're that good or not, Joe, but they're looking pretty tough on this one against the Jets. They're about to advance to the playoffs. Cleveland Gary fumbled the ball, and it went out of bounds. Rams retain possession at the 25-yard line. Ron Stallworth, one of the youngsters on that front of the Jets defense, along with James Hasty, combining to hit Gary.
Well, plenty of white shirts out here this time. You can see Radichowski, 25, forces Gary back inside, and Stallworth creates the fumble coming from behind Gary. So the Jets had some good pursuit, good defensive play the last down.
3rd and 7 coming up for Los Angeles. In case you missed it, Jim Everett has become the first Ram quarterback to pass for over 4,000 yards in this game. 4 wide receivers. Everett complete to Henry Ellard at the 20-yard line, short of the first down by a couple of yards. Clifton was covering Ellard, and so Mike Lansford will come on to attempt the first field goal of the game.
You know, Lansford, it amazes me to see these barefooted kickers, Tom. Now, next week, these guys, the Rams, have to go up to New England to play, and those folks in New York know what kind of weather conditions they have up there. Then in the playoffs, which the Rams are probably going to make, they'll have to play either in New York or Philadelphia. And Lansford's kicking barefooted. Yike, you know it stings. He says it stings just a bit.
This is a 37-yard attempt. And it stings, but it feels good. It goes through the uprights. And the Rams add to their lead. It's now 31-7. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. This game is the property of the National Football League. New York Jets and Los Angeles Rams, all rights reserved. Telecast presented by authority of the National Football League and intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. Philip Epps takes the kickoff and makes a good return out of it to midfield and beyond to the 48-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams. A 43-yard kickoff return by Philip Epps. The Jets will take over in Ram territory when we come back. Down in Atlanta, the Redskins on a comeback. They're within 3 now of the Falcons after trailing earlier 27-10. And the Rams have extended their lead over the Jets 31-7. Remember, a Ram win coupled with a Redskin loss makes Los Angeles a wild card. Ken O'Brien with a complete pass. It's to Newbert, who is about 2 yards short of a first down. Tripped up by Leroy Irvin. Pat Ryan wearing the jacket over on the sideline, unable to play today in a backup quarterback role because of this hit last week by Thomas Everett.
Well, actually, Greg Lloyd laid the hit on him here, and it was a little bit late, too. You see 2 good steps, and that's an awful hit. That flag you saw on the ground was not thrown for the hit on Ryan, but it sure should have been.
That's right. It was Greg Lloyd that hit him and Everett that hit Toon, wasn't it?
Right. But the Everett hit was a good hit. That was a clean hit. This hit by Greg Lloyd was awful late.
Roger Vick toting the football for the Jets. Dan Alexander leading the way with a block. Alexander, the 13-year veteran out of LSU, has already announced that this will be his final season. A man held in great affection by his teammates. In fact, Ken O'Brien at a charity auction paid $3,300 for the jersey of Dan Alexander. There's Alexander lining up at his customary right guard spot. One more game after this one in his career. O'Brien sacked. That's the 6th sack of the day given up by the New York Jets. And it is the 57th sack of the season that the Jets have allowed. Brian Smith will get credit for the sack.
Well, let's see if we can find Dave Cadigan. He's the one blocking on Smith. Actually, Smith beat both Criswell and Cadigan. Criswell had Smith first, and then Brian Smith got away from Criswell, and Cadigan couldn't get to him. So Brian Smith beats a double team to make the sack, but the sack was available because of good defensive coverage downfield. O'Brien couldn't find anyone.
6 sacks today for the Rams. Johnny Hector on the run to the 30-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 yards to go for the New York Jets. Dan Alexander opened a hole for Hector that time.
Hector's had a good year. You know, he's played more than Freeman McNeil this year. There's old Dan Alexander. Yeah. Well, there is some mileage on these guys. The one that you have to wonder about is Mickey Schuler. You know, it's 12 years and he's coming back from a knee injury. He was playing well enough before he got hurt, but is that knee going to be well for next season? And Marty Lyons has got to come back from an injury also.
Ken O'Brien, plenty of time this possession, and the pass knocked away intended for Toon, who had 3, maybe 4 blue jerseys around him. The Rams appears to be shaken up, Joe.
3 or 4 blue jerseys, but O'Brien does a pretty good job of sticking that ball about where he has to. You see, Toon had a better chance for it than anyone else, even though the blue jerseys are around there. Wherever you see Al Toon run, you're going to find some blue jerseys running around because they want to keep their eye on him.
Looks like it might be Strickland that is down. Strickland was one man down, and I think Jerry Gray is the other. Or is it Gray? We can't see the number. Strickland is up and coming to the sideline under his own power. Still unable to check on the other injured Ram, which we will do while we take a break. Los Angeles firmly in control. Joe Walton and the New York Jets on the verge of losing for the 11th time this season. They're going to try on 4th down. They've made half of their attempts on 4th down. This is 4th and about 6 from the Ram 31. O'Brien's pass too tall, incomplete, and Rams will take over. That last injured player for Los Angeles was Anthony Newman, a backup safety who finally left the field under his own power. Now O'Brien and the Jets failing to convert on 4th down. This game was tied 7-7 before the Rams reeled off 24 straight points, and they'll come with a new quarterback, Mark Herman, the 9-year veteran from Purdue, like Jim Everett, coming onto the field to direct the offense. He's only tried 4 passes all season, coming in for mop-up duties as Jim Everett will take a rest after another fine performance. There's Everett, who passed the 4,000-yard mark through the air today. Herman with a handoff to Del Pino. Well, you know, Jim Everett is one of the emerging quarterbacks in the NFL. We were asking John Robinson about him yesterday, and he said he's really improved in his intangibles, that he's a more disciplined quarterback, that he studies hard, he competes well, and paid him, Joe, a pretty nice compliment. He said Jim Everett starting to scratch the surface of greatness.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I'll tell you, Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator, the man to put this passing game together for the Rams, is a major reason. When Zampese came to the Rams from the San Diego Chargers in their passing attack, this Ram team took on a different look. And that's not the kind of look they took on normally. But they've gone from the running team to the passing team. This time, somebody forgot to block Lageman from the Jets on the outside. Actually, 2 of the Jets came clean on this last play.
Yeah, Clifton was the other as they welcomed Herman to the game. Doug Smith, the veteran center, beaten by Clifton and Lageman.
Herman's got to say, hey, wait a minute, fellas. You know, you did a better job for Everett in here.
Meanwhile, as we check in, the Redskins have come from behind from 17 down to take a 31-27 lead over the Atlanta Falcons. They're still in the 3rd quarter, so even though the Rams are on their way to victory, they can't officially make it into the playoffs if the Redskins win. They'll have to wait till next week. Mark Herman's first pass never gets off the ground. He's taken down as they try to knock the ball loose from him, and the Jets record another sack. This time Robert Cox off the offensive line was beaten by Dennis Byrd. Byrd, the leading sack maker on the Jet squad, adds to his list. Lageman also was in there, and there's Byrd. Boy, Joe Walton likes Dennis Byrd, the rookie out of Tulsa, who was a 2nd-round draft choice. That's his 7th sack of the season. Hatcher's punt. Just barely got it away. Eric McMillan, no, it's Townsell, will return this one, as usual, and a flag down. 33-yard kick. Only a 2-yard return by Townsell. Messner made the tackle for the Rams. There is a penalty marker.
Illegal block, number 77 on the return. 1st down, timeout.
The illegal block by Nichols. And we'll take a break. Back to Anaheim in a moment. When the Jets hire a general manager, they'll be assessing the entire coaching staff. And, Joe, that means the assistants as well, as Roger Vick takes this swing pass.
That's right. You know, a new general manager comes in, he might not clean house totally. Right here in Rich Kotite, the Jets have a bright offensive mind. No one from the opposing staffs around the league has ever failed to give the Jets offense credit for their being so sophisticated and running plays that fool them. So Kotite, I'm sure, is going to be assessed, or at least I would think would be assessed by the new general manager, as well as Wallace Chambers. Wallace Chambers is doing a good job with the defensive line in the Jets.
2nd down pass by Ken O'Brien. Finally finds Newbert after looking 2 other places and completes the pass. Newbert fumbles, but he will be ruled down. No fumble on the play. You're talking about the Jets offense, and even though they've won only 4 games this season, their offense ranks 14th in the NFL, Joe. A pretty good showing by a team that's won only 4 times. And by a team that's offensive line hasn't played well most of the season. Al Toons only had a few games. Wesley Walker, Mickey Schuler. You know, this offense of the Jets has really been hit with the injuries, and they haven't performed well. O'Brien almost sacked again, does manage to complete it to Roger Vick. Vick fumbles the ball as he's taken down at about the 38-yard line. Let's see who got it.
I think Vick may have gotten it back. He reacted awful fast to it.
Mel Owens tackled him, and the ball came loose. Joe Walton, will he be back for an 8th year? That's been the subject of speculation all season long, and intensified this week with the announcement that the Jets will go after a general manager. And the speculation is, of course, that the general manager would want his own man as head coach. Walton said it had been tough to concentrate because of all the distractions, that he's just focused on the game all week long, and that his young players hadn't been bothered by the distractions. He said the veterans, though, were a different story.
Sure, they see so many things going on, hear so many things. There's no way you can concentrate on the game. Already, Joe Walton's been mentioned as a replacement for Mark Trestman with the Cleveland Browns offense. The way the Browns offense has been playing, they're looking for a new coordinator.
Fairnez makes O'Brien cough it up, and the Rams cause another turnover. Brett Fairnez, the second-year player out of San Diego State, comes through to knock the ball free. Well, O'Brien was back to pass.
Number 74, Singer on the right side, does a pretty good job, but Vick, so often the running backs are responsible to pick up these blitzing linemen, the blitzing linebackers, and Vick just does not do a good job of getting in front of Fairnez. Fairnez just runs right around Roger Vick, and Vick actually gives up the sack.
Fairnez not only forced the fumble, but recovered it as well. And the Rams with Mark Herman at quarterback, first down at their own 41. 7.5 minutes left in the game. Cleveland Gary on the call. And the Rams on top of the New York Jets, 31-7. This was a 7-7 game at one point.
Once again, Lagerman turned the play back inside. The runner had to cut back, and there was no Jet pursuit. These Jet linemen and linebackers are getting cut off at the point of attack, and they're not pursuing to the ball quickly enough.
Fairnez with another takeover for the Ram defense. Takeaway. Speaking about offensive sophistication, the Rams offense is ranked 3rd in the NFL. Their passing game is ranked 3rd as well. Gary picking his way forward. Nice run by the Miami rookie. You see why he had such a starring role with the Miami Hurricanes in the first-round draft choice there. Rambles for 11 yards.
Well, there was a good hole up there on the right side of that offensive line. And Gary's able to look on right here where number 52 is lined up. You see the lead back come in there. Boy, he just cuts down 52 beautifully to open a big hole. Adam Bobb was the linebacker who stepped up in there, but he forgot to get his hands out in front of him to play off McGee, the blocker.
First down, Rams at the 44-yard line of the Jets. Gaston Green with his first carry, and he spurts forward inside the 40-yard line. Got about 7 yards on that first down carry before George Radachowski can get him down.
They're just stringing it out. The Rams are running to wide and then cutting back. Once again, the Jet pursuit is not there. Well, this doesn't look too good, does it? Plus 13 in 88 to a minus 15 in 89.
That's a pretty good sign of a bad team, isn't it? Minus 15 in the takeaway ratio. Well, let's go up top to the MetLife blimp now and check out the I formation here with the tight end to the left for the Rams. Tailback, Cleveland Gary. To the 35 and close to the first down. It'll be just a little short.
You know, Tom, I'm not too sure. We won't see the Rams abandon this I formation in the near future. The way these defenses are playing, that bear defense or the eagle defense, the pressuring type defenses where they're shooting the gaps, giving the ball to a runner 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage isn't getting it done. Coach Robinson said yesterday he can see in the future going to more split backs and getting the ball to the ball carrier closer to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he said the days of the 7-yard back tailback were disappearing against those attacking style defenses, those gap defenses. Cleveland Gary from the tailback spot with another nice run. Well, John Robinson was glowing in his praise of this rookie. Buford McGee was able to spring him with a good block, and Gary took advantage of it for 18 yards.
Oh, there was a lot of good blocking up there. When Gary hit the hole on the outside, there wasn't a Jet defender. Check over here and look at this huge hole that Gary gets to run through. Beautiful blocking right there. McGee out in front nicely, and Bobby Humphrey and Radachowski make the play, but not before. Cleveland Gary had a great hole to run through.
Well, after that tough loss Monday night to the 49ers, the Rams' theme has been 4 more wins, and we get to play the 49ers again. What do you think their chances are, Joe, as the playoffs approach?
I don't like their chances up there in New York or Philadelphia. You've got to be able to run the football better than the Rams have been running it, especially in those bad weather conditions.
Herman hits Del Pino inside or right to the 5-yard line of the Jets. John Robinson has had an excellent record. That last play covered 12 yards, and it's 1st and goal for Los Angeles. Here's Jim Everett, number 11, in the background, now with the duty of consulting on the plays as Mark Herman directs the offense.
Well, as you know, Tom, we've seen Willie Anderson make those adjustments to the ball. Even in bad weather, that's a big, big plus factor for the Rams, because if you could hang it up there one-on-one, if they can get Anderson one-on-one, even if the wind's blowing, he's going to make the adjustment for you.
Gary. Touchdown. Cleveland Gary with his first professional touchdown carry as he goes 5 yards, and on that drive, Cleveland Gary carrying 8 times for 49 yards. Extra point by Mike Lansford. It's good. And perhaps a new running star emerging for the Los Angeles Rams. John Robinson said, no problem. Cleveland Gary can do it.
Now here's a shot from our blimp. Look at the 2 linebackers, Adam Bobb here and Troy Benson here. Both of these guys are going to have good shots on the running back, but they miss. Benson will have his hands full a little bit, but look at Bobb. He just misses the tackle. Just poor tackling on the Jets' behalf.
A pretty nice run by Cleveland Gary. Resulted in a Ram touchdown. There's the kickoff taken by Nichols, one of the up men. Second time today, I think he's had his hands on the football in that situation. Bethune made the tackle.
I was going to say, I'll bet that's a personal record for Nichols, returning 2 kickoffs in 1 game.
I don't know if it's a record he wants. The Rams, 400-plus total yards 8 times this season, and 412 rolled up against a rather lethargic Jet defense today. Ken O'Brien is still the Jet quarterback. Meanwhile, Jim Everett. Congratulations all around on the Rams, shaking off the doldrums of that tough loss Monday night. Coming back to beat the Jets handily. It's been not in doubt for some time. Roger Vick on the carry. Well, Dick Steinberg may have something to do if he is going to be the Jets' new general manager. What about his track record, Joe? What has he done, for instance, with the New England Patriots?
Well, he took them to a Super Bowl for one thing. These draft choices are all number 1s that Steinberg had picked. But, folks, you don't build a football team solely on number 1 picks. When you look at that list up there, you look at this list, you see that only the players in white are still with New England. The others are gone. Tony Eason, of course, here with the Jets. But once again, just the first rounders don't make a team. What Steinberg has done was put together this Ram team back in '79 that went to the Super Bowl, and he put together that New England team that made it to the Super Bowl in '86. So he's capable of putting together championship quality teams.
What about his reputation around the league?
Oh, it's good. Second only to Bobby Beathard, in my opinion.
Flag down. O'Brien's pass is intercepted. Tipped at the line of scrimmage and then picked off by one of the Ram men, Mark Messner. Sean Smith tipped it, and Mark Messner took it in. Now, that's interesting because Sean Smith was just signed this week as a free agent, and Mark Messner was just activated Friday from the development squad. It'll all be for naught because the penalty is against Los Angeles.
Offside, number 51, defense, still 3rd down.
Fairness cost Messner an interception. Messner's a rookie out of Michigan, 6th-round draft choice, just activated Friday from the development squad. Coach John Robinson said he's been driving us crazy all year. He's one of those wild guys, and he got his first play today in an NFL game and almost had an interception, wiped out by penalty.
Boy, San Francisco's come back. They've beaten Buffalo by 11 now.
Draw play, Johnny Hector gets a block from Toon and cuts up. Pretty nice gain to the 35-yard line. Best running play of the day for the Jets. It covers 24 yards. Vince Newsom made a saving tackle for the Rams.
I'll tell you, this play almost didn't go anywhere. If we can see this play again, you'll see Ken O'Brien has the ball in the wrong hand, and then he ends up switching hands with the ball and just barely gets it to Hector in time. Watch this. He's going to make it wrong. There you go. Now he's coming on the other side, and the play ends up being one of the best plays they've run today.
It is the best running play as Hector fights his way for yardage. We mentioned earlier that Johnny Hector will be the Jets' leading rusher, breaking a hold of 8 straight years when Freeman McNeil, who hasn't played today, still banged up, had been New York's top ground gainer. Well, next weekend, plenty of football on NBC Sports. Join us Saturday for a special edition of NFL Live at noon. Then the Bills, still fighting for the playoffs, losing now to the 49ers, take on these Jets. Then on Sunday afternoon, East against West, the Giants host the Raiders. And the Giants, of course, looking for that NFC East Division crown. The Raiders in the hunt for an AFC wildcard berth. It'll be Bo Jackson against that tough Giant defense. It's all coming up next weekend on NBC. And O'Brien has a man open. It's Newbert, and Newbert stumbles in for the touchdown. 35-yard scoring play. Ken O'Brien to Keith Newbert.
Good protection, excellent pass by Ken O'Brien. On the top right of your screen, you'll see 86 Keith Newbert, and then both Vince Newsom and Darrell Henley, defensive backs, just can't make the tackle. They bounce off the big tight end. 6'6", 248 pounds, huh?
And O'Brien with the touchdown throw, and the score mitigates against any big celebrations after that touchdown toss. By the way, it's Keith Newbert's first touchdown catch as a professional player.
The try after the 2-minute warning.
So they're going to try the point after following the 2-minute warning. And that giant collective sigh of relief you hear is the 2-minute warning. The Rams on top, 38-13. Not many people left at Anaheim Stadium. And this one has been decided since the first half, I guess, when the Rams started a little slowly. It was a 7-7 game, but they had command of it by intermission, and it's just been coasting here in the second half of play.
Yeah, the season's winding down. The career is winding down. We mentioned Dan Alexander, the right guard of the Jets, playing in his next to the last game. Pat Leahy, of course, 16 years, but Pat hasn't seemed to have lost anything from his kicking, so I think that he'd have a good chance of making this team again next year. Dan Alexander, though, I talked to him earlier, and he said, yeah, well, I start getting sentimental next week. You know, he said, through all of this, though, he wants to point out that his wife, Sloan, has been the strong force behind his football career.
Ready for Leahy's point after now. Alexander. Vital cog in that Jet offensive line. He'll be missed. The point after is good. 1:59 remaining in the game from Anaheim Stadium. We'll be back. Time now for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP, Jim Everett, the Los Angeles quarterback, who hit 16 of 26, 273 yards and 2 touchdowns today, and also went over the 4,000-yard passing mark for the season. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. 28 touchdown passes for him now, adding to that NFL lead. That includes his 2 today. And only 15 interceptions. Still, that's a great touchdown pass to interception ratio.
His numbers are outstanding. You know, what's frightening is you look at the one guy ahead of him, Joe Montana. Montana's in a different league. I don't know, 71% he's completing. Joe Montana's so far ahead, but Everett is just the one big step down, and he's having a tremendous year.
Well, Joe, it looks like the Jets are going to, don't giggle now, try an onside kick.
Well, I hope they get it.
Cleveland Gary, Johnny on the spot. They had the good hands folks up front, and Gary did grab it. Well, stay tuned on most of these NBC stations for Mickey's Christmas Carol, followed by all new episodes of Ann Jillian and Sister Kate, and then the NBC premiere movie Desperado, Badlands Justice. Coming up next, except here on the West Coast, where you'll see them at their regularly scheduled time.
Now, look, I understand that there's no quit in the New York Jets or Joe Walton, but if they call timeout after the Rams run this ball, I'm going to cry foul. I mean, there's no reason to stop this clock anymore, folks. This game is over.
Gaston Green. 2 or 3 yards. Adam Bobb getting some playing time. A piece of the tackle as the clock continues to roll. Here's an update on the scores. San Francisco 21-10. Atlanta has come back within 1 of the Redskins. Could that still be the 3rd quarter?
That's amazing.
Seems like that would have been in the 4th by now. And of course, again, if the Redskins lose to the Falcons, coupled with this win by the Rams are in as a wild card. They've done all they can do. They put the W up on the board. Gaston Green to the 40. 2 more yards to his total. Well, the executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. Today's game produced by Tommy Roy and directed by J.D. Hansen. NFL Live produced by David Neal and directed by Bucky Guntz. NFL Live news producer Ricky Diamond. Technical directors Sal Nagita and Richard Sansevier. Also thanks to Ray Benassi and to Ed Fibachoff for their great work again this week. And here in the booth, Dennis Mnuchin, always doing a fine job on stats for us. And thanks to Pat Ward and Dave Bullwinkle, our spotters.
And that's a real name, too, huh? Bullwinkle? I mean, yeah.
He's a basketball coach. From Cal Poly down to do a little spotting today. Cal Poly, Pomona. John Robinson will leave the field with his 10th victory of the season. 10-5 will be the Rams, and Joe Walton now 4-11 with the New York Jets. And the Los Angeles Rams now will turn their attention to the scoreboard and the result of that Redskin game. If the Falcons can pull it out, the Rams, after this victory, will be in as a wild card. 38-14 the final score as the Los Angeles Rams defeat the New York Jets. And we'll be back in just a moment.